Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, a podcast that I created. I have now hosted 61 episodes of this podcast by myself. There's no one else here, and I'm going to talk to you about Indiana Jones. And what's that? Who's laughing?
Nobody.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, so minute 61 starts out with, so I don't know what I'm saying.
62.
62, okay, I'm done, I'm out. The ruse is over.
I'm your co-host, Tom Taylor.
I'm your co-host, Pete Mummert.
I'm the intern, Gerry Porter.
I'm Reed Cavanah.
The true host of this show.
Yeah. Recording, coming to you live from the warehouse where I keep all the podcasts that I've created.
Yeah, how many movie minute podcasts have you just crated up and sat on?
Oh, I'm literally sitting on the Schindler's List minute right now. Yeah. You know what? It just occurred to me that might be a little disrespectful. I'm gonna move. Okay, now I'm
Dust
here.
that off.
1941 minute.
There you go.
Yeah.
No one's coming looking for that. You're good. We are here to talk about minute 62 of Raiders. And 62 begins with Sala actually telling Indy that he should go first. That's what he was saying yesterday. And ends with Belloq telling Marion that he would very much like to see something. But we don't quite get to hear what he wants to see. So Belloq comes into this tent with a guard, or no, not with a guard, with a sort of, busboy guy with a tray of food. And he starts to untie Marion, who's asleep. And when she wakes up, she's like, "Damn it, Jones!" Like, she kind of clearly says, "Damn it, Jones." But Belloq seems to not notice that at all. Or maybe he chalks it up to her, like, dreaming and,
Like if he questioned her about it, she would have said, "No, I said danger, dungeon,
stranger danger."
Look, let's clear this up. She says, "New damn it, Jones."
Oh, I'm sorry.
New damn it, Jones. Actually, I think she says, "God damn it, Jones."
She might.
I actually think she does it. Yeah, there's a little bit, and I listened to it a bunch. I'm like, God, I love her.
I did that too.
She really is incredible.
Yeah, she's incredible. I mean, that's sort of her signature. God damn it!
Also, before that though, when Belloq walks in, if you notice, he has to duck really low to get under that entrance.
Yeah.
It's like when you're at like a movie theater and there's nobody in line, but they've still got the rope barricades out there anyway, and you're like, okay, I'll be cool. I'll be totally cool. I'll step under it.
Yeah.
It'll look perfectly normal at like 20 feet away, and then you get there and you're closer, and it's like, okay, am I gonna hurt my back? And then 5 feet, you're like, okay, I'm going for it. It doesn't look good. I'm doing it, and I'm here now.
I'm bringing this whole thing down with me. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what he's covering from.
What I was wondering, same as you, Tom, is Marion having a bad dream that also happens to be her reality?
Oh.
When
that's terrible.
when Belloq unties her, or like, is she dreaming that, like, of what happened, a couple hours prior,
right?
Or does she really think it's Indy untying her?
Yeah, for some reason I always assumed that in that instant she assumes it's Indy, but I don't know why she would.
She's clearly asleep, and for the main thing, I was like, "Could you sleep like that?"
Well,
no,
she doesn't have much of a choice.
I knew I was old when I was watching the scene. I just kept thinking, man, her neck and her back are going to be killing her tomorrow.
She better get drunk.
You might not be able to help sleeping. It might just be the air just goes out of every part of your body that needs it, and you just kind of you're sort of low profile for a while.
Well, I thought to myself, I was like, when I saw her, I was like, God, I'd love to be asleep like her.
nighty night.
Yeah, just be able to sleep through one night.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I honestly feel like when she does see that it's Belloq, she's probably like, "Oh, the French guy, I can take this. Like, I can handle this." She's legitimately done with Indy at this point. When you really, you know, when you look at where it goes and when they next meet, no spoilers, she's done with him. She's mad at him still. She's not like, you know, crawling back into his arms wishing he was there. She's like, "Oh, a French guy I can manipulate. I can find something and I can get out of here." Like,
Right.
it's great. It's a good moment when you see her gears turning there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putty in my hands.
Although the guy that actually stops her, that German soldier that comes in, is like a freshman high school extra actor. He's like the scrawniest soldier.
Yeah.
Halt!
That's a type.
Mouse pass.
I think you might be hard pressed not to find a Nazi that was a scrawny high school freshman. That's sort of the Nazi profile.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's funny, Belloq says something that actually I've heard it 1,000 times, but I never thought about it until now. He says the desert is 3 weeks in every direction. Is that
Which is
true at
clearly
all?
a lie.
Wait,
No,
what?
it's absolutely a lie.
Yeah, it's totally a lie, right?
Yeah,
I don't know, but all I thought was, I mean, that is like my next line on my Tinder date. Like, you sit down and you're like, if you're trying to escape on foot, the desert is 3 weeks in every direction.
Jesus Christ, Jer.
Yeah, so please eat something.
Oh my God. Is this taking place in like the freezer in your basement or something?
It's in my podcast warehouse. He already talked to me about it.
But
Ladies,
I
please
mean,
be
he's-
careful out there.
He's so smooth,
Yeah.
man. He's so
Yeah.
smooth. He doesn't. She runs out to like, I'm gonna run out in the desert, and he doesn't even flinch.
He doesn't even turn around barely.
No, he's like, first of all, I know someone's behind me who
Yeah.
speaks Havitos and
Yeah.
German, and I told him, and I already prepared him, and it's 3 weeks in every direction. And even if it's not, if I say it's 3 weeks in every direction, then it is.
But wouldn't she know
Or
that,
she
like,
steals a
isn't
car.
Cairo just over the hill over there? Like, that's something I'm realizing I have a deep misunderstanding about this movie, maybe. Because I'm always thinking, like, as I'm watching these scenes, I'm picturing, like, Salah's house and the streets of Cairo and basket chases and stuff, all being, like, just, like, visible from here. But if it's not, and if it really is 3 weeks, that's ridiculous. Like, how did Belloq come into the, you know, to intimidate Jones in the bar and stuff, and they then go 3 weeks back out to the dig? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Belloq.
Well, also, they found the map room. So, as
Yeah.
it is, they had to find the map room before they could do anything with the staff anyway. So, if they found the map room, just search it, just dry, no leads or whatever, that's it. Yeah, you're right. It would have to be somewhere somewhat logical. I guess if they just had figured out where Tanis was just from process of elimination. But yeah, that's maybe a hole better not gone down, because that's already
Right.
frustrating me.
Let's not pick at this
Well,
thread.
I thought there might be just everybody's using sort of biblical hyperbole, a sandstorm that lasted a year.
Yeah.
No,
You
that
know,
was
the
literal.
desert it's 3 weeks in every direction. You know,
It's a
Yeah.
sandstorm that lasted a whole year, and that's how the Sahara was invented.
Invented. Hey, we had a lot of henchman do's and don'ts conversation back in Nepal, and seeing this guard come in made me think of this. Like, do you think he and did Belloq like give him his marching orders, like, you know, before he went? I was like, okay, if you hear somebody scrambling towards the entrance and it's not me, like if I come to the entrance, I'll say like rabbit, rabbit or something, so you don't have to come in. But if somebody's coming towards the door and you don't hear them say rabbit, rabbit, then you come in and just stand there and I'll take care of it.
except for the busboy, he's allowed to leave.
No, yeah.
Like that?
Yeah. He's got
That would
he's got a cowbell in his pocket so you can hear him.
That's pigeon.
I just
Pigeon.
I just want to see the at the end of the scene, like after it cuts, and, you know, tote whatever and all that. But then Belloq leaves and just says, "Oh shoot, sorry, rabbit, rabbit." Like, Like, don't you?
I wonder if that's what happened with Barranca. We were wondering this about Barranca. Like, what was the conversation about somebody holding Barranca up until, Belloq said, okay, that's good.
Belloq's
Rabbit.
a real tableau man. He's a real organizer of machinations.
He sets a table. He sets a scene. He's all about the organization of the moment.
He's already had a whole bottle of that stuff before he even pulls it out.
Right.
No, how about this? Marion's wearing red on her dress, and the present box, like the box present that he has for her, has a matching red stripe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What does that
he
mean?
pays attention to the details.
But I think he was paying attention to different details here, because when you watch what happens, he looks down at her, like he sees that the sleeve of her dress is torn.
Yeah.
And he kind of flicks it up. And I think this is the point where he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give her Totes dress. Because he's like, the poor lady, her shirt's ripped. So yeah, we've been working under the assumption that I have. Kevin Marsh actually weeks ago saying that the dress he thinks was for Tote, and there seems to be a lot pointing to that.
Pete has reams of fan fiction about this that you don't want to see. Well, yeah, I'm actually kind of disappointed because in this, we keep making jokes about, oh yeah, Belloq, he's got it all together. He travels the desert with wine and a dress, just in case, you never know what's going to happen. But here he's talking about like, well, when, you got the right connections and, even in this part of the world, we're not entirely, it sounds like he got there and then I was like, oh, I might have like a young woman kidnapped at one point. So I need to send out for like some booze and a dress and maybe some shoes. And so like this is more just like on the spot planning from him and not like weeks in advance. Like, he's getting on a plane in Paris with all this stuff.
Right. He's not like in a production office saying like, did I hear someone say something about a woman being present in this escapade in the desert? Perhaps we should have woman things. What do women use?
He's a road dog. I mean,
yeah.
I do. I think he's a road dog. I mean, he's not, obviously he's coiffed and he's groomed, but at heart he's a road dog.
He doesn't travel with the dress. He just knows where to get one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says we are not entirely uncivilized. And I was wondering, who's the we?
These Egyptian people that I've adopted as my
Yeah, because before that he says at this, they're talking about the Nazis, your friends, which I love how she spits out like baloney as she says that. And he says at this particular time and place from my work they are necessary evil. And you're like, oh, this dude knows how to play the system. I mean, brilliantly.
Yeah.
Again, brilliantly.
Yeah.
But he says we are not entirely uncivilized. And I was like, does he mean, like him and the Nazis? Or is he just speaking about himself? Just like we are not, meaning, basically me. I am not uncivilized.
Right.
Yeah.
And when he says that they're not his friends, do you think he's like off camera whispering to the poor guy at the door, not you, you're my friend, it's okay.
You're good, Jimmy. You're good. You and me. Well, Gerry, you just said baloney, and that's one of my questions. She's eating all this stuff. We see like bananas and dates and stuff, and she's got like a what?
I was gonna say she's still beautiful even with a mouthful of uncooked dough.
Oh, totally. What is that she's eating? That white kind of chewy mass. What is that?
I don't know, but it crunches like a motherfucker.
Wait, it does?
Yeah, when she eats it, and I literally was like, well, clearly one of the layers is iceberg lettuce. Because if you listen, I mean, you have to listen with headphones, but she bites in, it goes...
To that second thing? Because she takes a bite of bread first.
Yeah.
No, the bread, the sandwich. It makes like, I think they use that Ben Bird bullwhip in there. When she crunch. And I was like, I don't know what that, it looks like doughy Wonder Bread to me, but clearly it's...
I think it might just be dough.
Crunch.
It's so weird. And she's going for it. She is just getting there because, like it's like watching an animal. Like I have two cats that both eat like jerks, and we can get a different order of something from Amazon in like a different box, and they suddenly just won't eat that particular box of the same. But it's like it's like watching an animal choose its food. It's like she's just like going for this. Okay, I try the bread. Nope, not gonna do the bread. Okay, this white thing, I'm into this. I'm doing. This is me. This is
Right.
my food now.
I'm starving, but this is what I choose.
Keep the apples, keep the bananas, the normal food that everybody has everywhere, that people like Willie Scott go after. I'm just eating this uncooked dough.
I wonder if it's like half a wheel of cheese or something. Maybe that's what it is. I'm just looking at it now.
It looks so soft.
Yeah, it does. It's like store-bought mozzarella.
It's like a moist towelette or something. Like,
Yeah.
it's
No,
not-
don't. Oh,
This is a delicacy in this part of
now it is.
the world.
Well, speaking of loud noises, did anybody hear that little triangle when she
Yeah.
picks up the knife?
I wrote that down. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never
The-
noticed
the-
that before.
I never noticed that before either. And when I thought about it, there's like, it's almost like a cartoonish ding.
Yeah.
Like she picks up the knife and you hear this ding, and it's like, wow, they really put a sound to the thought, the little light bulb thought bubble above her head. It literally was like a cartoon. It
That's
was
funny.
like, hey, I could use this ding, and there's a a light bulb above her head.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah, but
thought,
it's-
did they do that anywhere else in the movie? Like, is there anywhere else where they actually put a sound effect in that's like that?
Well, that's the weird thing about it, is that they probably have, and you just don't notice them, because something about the way, like, I mean, honestly, it was a way of drawing attention to it and showing that they knew that he knew what was happening as he directed it, but without hitting you over the head, without giving a close up of it or anything. Because whenever I've watched it, I've just been paying attention to Belloq. Like, he's walking away, he's walking around doing his thing, and monologuing, and she's, you just sort of naturally pay attention to whoever's talking, and yet that's just the perfect thing to show that there's a lot going on. It's almost sort of like a theater thing or something. Like just something to draw your attention to it if you're looking at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
But they draw your attention to it usually by like a quick 1 second shot or something, something like
Right.
that. But in this one, it's literally like a triangle. Ding!
Well, it's also, what it reminds me of is because that's the thing though, is that you, like you said, well, I mean, I didn't notice it before. You said you didn't notice it before, so that's the weird thing about it, is like once you do see it, it seems kind of dumb, but it's a little bit like when they're in the cafe, in the scene with probably the greatest dialogue in this, the past century, where Indy's talking to Belloq about, Arc's a transmitter, all that.
Oh, sure.
And there's that shot of, I just watched it earlier, and I swear I don't think I'd ever seen it before either, where you see somebody pass somebody else a pistol in the foreground.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys probably talked about that. But yeah, like it's like that. I mean, I think that's what makes these movies feel so, like they have so much to sort of so much going on behind them, so much history. It makes it feel like it's a bigger world, because literally, you can't you can't see everything just watching it once. You can't notice all that, even though there is a weird kind of obvious chime. It's still something that you don't necessarily notice the first time through.
I mean, and on that pistol scene, that's what's different though, is when you do see that, it doesn't go ding.
Right.
Well, I find that in movies, knives always make a lot of noise when there's no reason for them to. Like, somebody will pick up a butcher knife, like, to defend themselves, and it literally won't be touching anything, but you'll hear shink.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what's going on, like, you touch a knife and it's like a lightsaber. It just has a constant sound going on. So maybe that's what this is. She's in a movie, and she touched a knife, so it had to make a sound.
Yeah. It's one
And
of
it's
those
kind of like she
giant
hit
knives.
that glass with the knife too, when right before it made the triangle sound.
Oh, maybe.
The angle on it is so weird. It's kind of, once you start looking at that, the angle on it is really kind of interesting, because as Belloq turns around, it's like trying to figure out if the knife is in his eye line. It's one of those sort of tension moments of like, even though you know exactly what's going to happen, you're kind of looking at it like, can he see it? Is it just barely hidden by her shoulder? Does he know she has that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually, speaking of Marion scenes and just sounds, I don't think there's any of Marion's theme in this minute or in my minutes, but I think it's probably my favorite John Williams theme, even though it's, even though Empire had, something really similar.
Yeah.
Something about hers, it's just so like it's almost like more like it's inspired by sort of old, like legit, genuine old noirs and sort of classic Hollywood scores that had these really romantic moments in the scores that didn't completely, like in the movies where they sort of originated, they always kind of dominated the score. There's strings all over the place and just sort of like when you look back at like The Big Sleep or something, it doesn't have the most subtle score. It has a few
Right.
moments, and then Casablanca I think kind of took that forward a little bit. And it's always a nostalgic sounding, but then when you get to sort of the retrospective on those sorts of movies, really John Williams is so amazing at this because it's that exact old feel, but it only pops in when you hear Marion's theme. It doesn't just go overboard really. It's just that perfect like nostalgic kind of sound of I just picture like old desk fans and Venetian blinds and stuff when I hear that music for some reason. It just seems like the best old noir music.
Like this movie should be black and white.
Yeah, when that's on. Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and later on they have later on in this desert in the Belloq scene, there's a little bit of like a desert date night, rumpus. Like mischief, desert date night mischief.
I was waiting for you to say either rumpus or mischief. and I got
Mischief.
both. Thank you, Jerry.
They do that. So it's just for, it's not, I don't think it's not in this minute. It's maybe in a few minutes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of rumpus mischief, that guard is still standing there while Belloq is offering her a dress and wanting her to change into it and stuff. Is he so smooth that he does not care at all? I mean, is Belloq so smooth that he doesn't mind that they're like, Billy Nazi standing over there watching this?
Or is Billy Nazi so smooth that he's just standing there learning like an old timey.
He's like he's a
out.
freshman. Yeah, he's a freshman.
Yeah.
He already established. Like, oh my God.
Oui, monsieur.
All his friends are gonna make fun of him for thinking the French guy is so cool.
Yeah. Jimmy, why do you carry that giant box with that dress in it everywhere you go? No, the guy did, and it was awesome. It totally worked out.
Seriously, Jimmy, why are you? Is that a neck scarf? Nazis don't wear neck scarves.
Why are you only wearing your goggles over your eyes, like on top of your head? That doesn't do anything. Yeah, but it looks cool.
What are we doing at Nordstrom Rack?
Oh my God. I had one other thing. This and this we'll talk about again in 4 years probably if all goes well. I'm assuming that this is inside. We talked about this a little bit when we first saw Marion in the tent. We were debating whether or not it was filmed inside a set or if it was actually, the tent is outside and they're inside the tent.
Mm.
I'm assuming that this is inside too. And one of the things that made me really angry about, not to tip my hand or whatever, but it's not, controversial to say you have issues with Crystal Skull. But so much of that movie was so obviously inside, like in a set with like trees on like little boxes or something, and there were all sorts of scenes inside tents like this. But this, I 100% buy that they are in Egypt in the desert in a tent.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the difference is. I can't tell you. I'm sure a cinematographer could maybe tell me, but I totally buy it here.
Well, the authenticity of that makes it like, I guess a few minutes before this with the like bringing the pry bars and the terrible sort of rear projection or whatever that is.
Right.
That like that stuff is not so bad when you know, it's like you can afford that. If they really wanted to have this absurd, you know, power of God sky gathering overhead, and they really needed that shot, then fine, you know, it kind of works in that sort of uncanny valley sort of thing they're going for almost. But
yeah, definitely.
But like this, yeah, it only works because you surround it by things that you know you don't even question.
Yeah. Well, what drives me nuts is like, you know, overreaching with your special effects, that's one thing. Okay, you didn't quite have the ability to do that. But I mean, people have been using cameras and lights and sets for like 100 years. You know, did people just forget how to do it between 1981 and 2000, whatever that was?
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I feel like, because you know, Crystal Skull, even the Star Wars prequels, I was just at the right age where I just didn't have a whole lot writing on it. Like I was young enough to still kind of, you know, appreciate the Phantom Menace for kid reasons when it came out. But then, you know, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, it was, I just, you know, it didn't really matter that they sucked to me. It wasn't, I just didn't have a lot writing on it. Star Wars was all kid stuff. So the fact that there was kid stuff, Star Wars didn't really, you know, and that was just dumb teen angst and everything. But, you know, Crystal Skull was my prequels. I mean, that was the one that came out when I was fully able to just walk out of the theater and have all of my bad feelings about it fully there on the surface, already established. Just like, I don't know. Is there anybody who likes it that you guys have talked to?
We've heard from people online who are like, "Hey, I hope you do Crystal Skull. Don't be too tough on it and stuff." And we're like, "All right."
I wish I was just tied up and asleep like Marion.
Maybe Crystal Skull is Marion's dream.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's tied up.
Boba Fett, where
that undoes all the feminist triumphs of Marion as a character in general. For that to be her dream, it ends with a wedding. Oh God.
Oh boy, my dream come true.
Well, that's why she wakes up. Damn you, Jones!
What'd you do? Tricked me into marrying you? Shia LaBeouf! Damn it, Jones!
So sad. That makes me sad.
All right. Well, now that we're sad, does anybody have anything else for 62? Or do we try to...
No.
Cheers sad. Poor Gerry. Well, Pete, where can people get in touch with us if they want to stand up for Crystal Skull? God.
If you do that and you would still like to be seen in public, you can join us at our listener page on Facebook, Indiana Jones and the Listener Crusade. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who would like to discuss that with you there.
I predict a vibrant conversation.
Scintillating.
You don't have to watch, Gerry. It's going to be all right. But listen, everybody come back tomorrow for minute 63 of Raiders of the Lost Ark, the good one, here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
No, damn it, Jones!
Jones! What kind of people are these friends of yours?
Oh, Jesus Christ.